Hello and welcome to the Climate Mapping for Resilience and Adaptation app. This app allows us to look at our local exposure to 5 common climate-related hazards and how they're projected to change throughout the century. We can interact with the app in 2 different ways. We can put an address or place in this box, or we can go to search the map. I'm going to select search the map. Once we get to the app, you can see the interface, and you can see that you can still search over in this box, and you can select the different geography that you might want to search on from census tract, county, and tribal area. Up here in the right-hand corner, it gives you information about the app, most significantly the data sources, telling us where the data comes from and that's being used in the app. And you can see that some of it is coming from the U.S. Census Bureau, some of it is coming from other resources, as you can see here. And you can look at the metadata then for each of the different data layers as part of this. Also, while we're here, I'll mention that the Open Data tab here, this has another way of getting the data. So let's say, for example, you want to build a map that has some of the data that's contained in this app. If we go to climate projections, we can find a number of data layers associated with climate change that you can be using in the maps that you make. And that will come in handy when we start making our own maps in Map Viewer. But always looking at open data is a great way of finding data that you might need for the studies that you wish to conduct. Coming back here, when we click on CMRA, that takes us to the full website for climate mapping and resilience and adaptation. And this is where you can look at the hazards in a little bit more detail. This is where you can find that open data. This is where you can find the assessment tool that we'll be using. And then this, the Get Started, provides your students really good background information about the different hazards that they may be exposed to climate-wise. And then finally, the user guide. And this is a really great resource to provide students so that they learn how to use the app. It's really a short, quick one pager here that tells them how to use the functionality related to the app. So really great resources that are available for you and your students. So now I'm going to come here and I'm going to put in a location, and I'm going to put in Millersburg, Pennsylvania. And I'm currently selected on county. I'm going to actually select census tract so we get the neighborhood that this is located in. And we can then look at climate hazards in all 5 of these categories for this census tract in Upper Dauphin County. And we can see that there's 2 different models, one that is a lower emission model, one is a higher emission model, and that we can change the climate projections for the early, mid, and late century. So if we take a look at days with extreme heat, so days over 90 degrees Fahrenheit, the lower emission model has it at 29 days and the higher at a little over 31. And we can compare that to the late century and how that goes up. And it goes up significantly, really, with both models, but it's kind of something that can be very telling and a great point of conversation. And you can do this with all the different variables that you see here. And with drought, you're going to have precipitation, and with wildfire, the same with precipitation, flooding, and so on. So you can kind of see what each of these gives you. I'm going back to extreme heat for a moment. You can also go to map exploration, where you can have it create a map of this for you, so you can see how you compare to areas around you. And I think I just lost my map accidentally. Let's just go back here. There we go. And you can see how areas are around you for the same category, and not even just around you, but like all across the United States. So that's a really helpful ability is to explore it not just by statistics, but geographically by using the map. And then over here, you have charts associated with each variable. So if you click on any one of these, you're going to get a different chart for each, and you can also get the table should you wish to get the table. And I kind of like the table because you can see everything, all the like over here, you have to pick the model that you want to look at in detail. This actually compares each of the models and the also the early century uh, to late century time frame. So to me, this is very handy. Then finally, the last thing I want to show you here is the Complete report. This is what they're not available for census tracts, so I'm going to change it to county. But you can get complete reports by the county level by clicking on Complete Report. And this gives you infographics, which is really cool. And the cool thing about infographics is not only do they give you lots of good data, but that you can click on any one of these variables here to learn more, and you can actually download the data from each of the variables. So it really can be a very useful little tool here. But this, you'll get 5 infographics for each county, one for each climate hazard. So we have extreme heat here, and we have droughts, then we have wildfire, flooding, and coastal inundation. And because we're located in Dauphin County in the mid-state of Harrisburg, notice that there's no data for coastal inundation because it's not really a hazard for this location. But if you do live in a coastal area, that would be available to you. So yeah, you have all of this data, which is great. But then you also have the ability to export these infographics. If you go to export infographic, you can export these as images and then just hit create image. When you do this though, however, when you export, it's only exporting the one that's showing on screen. So if you want to export all 5 of them, you have to export it 5 different times, just so that you know that you're not going to get all of them in one. But with them being images like that, then you can be like inserting these into websites, a PowerPoint, like any or Microsoft Word document. So you have a lot of ability of using these in other products as well. So that is a general overview of the Climate Mapping for Resilience and Adaptation app, an app that is really useful to understand climate-related hazards in your local area.